today, companies are taking a highly strategic and creative approach to packaging, recognizing that it serves as a critical touch point in engaging consumers. Packaging has evolved beyond merely protecting or presenting a product. It is now a powerful tool for storytelling, brand differentiation, and emotional connection. By leveraging trends such as minimalist design, nostalgic aesthetics, and playful or functional packaging elements, brands aim to resonate deeply with consumers on multiple levels. My name is Piers Fawkes. I'm the founder of PSFK, and today I'm going to take you through some analysis that I did around packaging trends and inspiration. For the presentation, I'll present some mainstreaming trends, then some emerging trends, and then at the end, we're going to go through a quick series of other ideas that we're seeing in the marketplace. The way we think about packaging is we think about both the form and aesthetic. We think about its function and we think about its impact, both in terms of how it supports the product and also the impact in terms of the community and world around us as well. So let's start and let's talk about some of the key trends in packaging. So the first theme we're going to look at is this interesting trend around cut glass. Here we see product manufacturers using glass packaging with intricate crystal-length designs. It's like the crystalware that you might have had on your Sunday lunch table. And we often see this within alcoholic beverages. We see this within beauty also. And this reminiscence of traditional glassware adds a touch of elegance and sophistication to products, enhancing their aesthetic appeal. So this approach not only elevates the perceived value of the product, but taps into a sense of luxury and craftsmanship. Another big trend that we see in packaging is around this idea of front and center, which is like saying, what's in it? And really what we're finding is packaging that is presenting its ingredients, sometimes its benefit, but often its ingredients front and foremost, and in some ways, at a larger font size, a larger label than the brand itself. And so being very focused on what's in the packaging, being very straightforward. And, this appeals to shoppers' desires for transparency and authenticity. We also see this theme of full spectrum, which is really around this idea of using colors of the rainbow to differentiate similar products, but different products within a range. So it could be distinguishing between different flavors. It could be highlighting unique attributes. But this approach provides a vibrant palette and it's visually striking and easier for the shopper to navigate the lineup. Now, obviously, we've used cardboard for so long, and it is in many ways the original packaging. Now it comes back full circle where we see a sort of simplified and knocked back use of cardboard, especially by the beauty, food, and electronics industries. And so with cardboard, which is sustainable, is being used to help present minimalistic designs, often featuring one or two colors only. So in fact, the reduction of the use of colored ink has an environmental impact and keeps the design simple. The packaging also responds to the delivery aspect of the e-commerce purchase path and therefore can turn up standalone or within its box and can be durable enough to protect the products inside it. And so with cardboard, which is sustainable, is being used to help present minimalistic designs, often featuring one or two colors only. So in fact, the reduction of the use of colored ink has an environmental impact and keeps the design simple. The packaging also responds to the delivery aspect of the e-commerce purchase path and therefore can turn up standalone within its box and can be durable enough to protect the products inside it. We've been watching aluminum bottles, particularly within bottled waters, for a number of years now, but we're seeing this packaging expand beyond bottled water to include flavored waters, alcoholic beverages, and even coffee. And this trend can be found in beauty and other sectors. The use of aluminum is often driven by the material's eco-friendly and recyclable nature. Producers have also found a way to add a lining to make it safer for the bottles to handle alcoholic drinks. I think consumers are pretty wary about the claims that plastic is recyclable, and there's a greater confidence in the metals and how a metal can be recycled. So what's also interesting is that the products are durable and it creates a kind common look and a quality look as well around the product. This trend is about this idea of complementary partnership and brand collaboration. This is really where two companies create sibling packaging that reference each other. And so in this example, we can see the shoe company Vans creating a complementary partnership with the beer company Fat Tire. The beer maker produces a beer and the shoe company makes a corresponding shoe, and both products have packaging that connects with one another. Coca-Cola and Oreo have produced a complementary partnership where the drink is to be enjoyed with cookies and a cookie to be enjoyed with cola. And we've seen this trend in alcoholic beverages and snacks. Our next trend is less connected with a recognizable aesthetic, but it's around a theme that I noticed, which I'm calling Memory of Eden. And in this Memory of Eden trend, we see packaging that reflects a nostalgic, romanticized vision of a perfect natural world, maybe an imagined paradise at the dawn of time. And so we see packaging subtly reference purity, untouched beauty, ancient animals, and similar. And next, with this trend, we're looking at the use of cardboard packaging in the form of a tube. This approach is not only sustainable, but it also enhances the ability to ship as well. But we've seen this format being used for tea, but we've also seen the use of tubes for beautiful and exotic luxury brands as well. So let's move on and let's talk about emerging themes that we see. So these are trends which are developing or emerging. One of the trends that we notice, particularly in the beverage sector, is called encased. So this often involves product manufacturers crafting these dramatic wooden cases that house their products. This approach not only adds a literal layer of protection, but it also creates a sense of drama, plus it touches on historical significance and heritage. Toy-like. We see this trend both in terms of the format of products itself and packaging. We are watching toy-inspired designs reminiscent of the 70s and 80s, whether that's car shapes, like the Olympian car or the Toys motorbike or the manual NYC camera. And we also see that within the actual product packaging as well. So Starface had this wonderful lip moisturizer product, which is fun and light-hearted in an engaging style. So the heritage patterns trend involves product manufacturers incorporating traditional patterns from various cultures, such as Mexican or Indian, to emphasize the authenticity and cultural roots of their products. And so they're using fairly traditional designs like we would find them in rugs, apparel, and textiles, but often these brands present them in a more contemporary wave style. And this, in some ways, creates a rich aesthetic because often it's very colorful. This approach appeals to consumers as it's a shortcut to authenticity and quality. We also see a trend around performative packaging. So we see this idea of packaging that actually does something during transit. It could be packaging that takes food, like the act of packaging, and then takes water out of that food during the transit, so the product turns out even fresher. It could be packaging that can be pressed and can cool the product inside before it's consumed. And so predominantly, we're seeing this in the food industry, but we see some applications in health. And, performative packaging adds functional value. It enhances the product's quality and experience as it reaches the customer. There's also a theme that we see around the use of watercolors. It's a specific aesthetic approach, and so it's a soft, artistic aesthetic to packaging. This trend often manifests in canned beverages such as coffee, wine, beer, and also on other alcoholic labels. I guess it provides a handcrafted, delicate feel to the packaging, provides some sort of artistic sensibility with the product design. Blank page. So this blank page trend is around this embrace of minimalism in packaging design, where companies strip down the labels and packaging to the bare essentials. The product focuses on the clean, uncluttered product face, and only the minimally necessary text is presented. And so this creates a clear, modern aesthetic. The simplicity of this approach not only makes the product easier for consumers to understand, but also resonates this sort of contemporary design to the audience. We see this half and half trend, which has a playful and visually engaging aesthetic, where the packaging design features a distinct shift in color or transparency or pattern from the bottom to the top of the product. The bottom half may be patterned, sometimes also might be transparent to give you a glimpse of what's inside. What's the other half might contrast with its color with blocking. So creates quite a dynamic visual element, but also allows storytelling, whether it's through just the transparency of the product or whether it's actually the graphic design that appears on the bottle as well. Copper tone. Something we noticed as we're going through our research was the use of copper, which has been applied to product and has been applied to the lettering as part of the overall aesthetic. And this trend not only makes products stand out on the shelf, but also conveys a sense of quality and craftsmanship. I guess also copper has an association with modernity, as well as a connection with electricity and energy, and so that might add to its appeal. The future 1984 trend sees companies revisiting and reinterpreting the future designs imagined in the 1980s, but drawing an inspiration from the era's conceptual visions of the future. Industries like automotive and electronics are reviving bold, innovative, avant-garde aesthetics that define 80s futurism. This nostalgic yet forward-looking approach allows brands to connect with both the retro appeal and the timeless allure of futuristic design. The grinded concept involves using repurposed materials, and often the grinding down of rubber and plastics. And then when it's all put together, it creates a certain aesthetic, a certain mottled effect. We can see this being used again back in sneakers, furniture, fashion, accessories as well. The idea exemplifies the circular economy mindset, where waste is minimalized by creatively reintroducing materials back into the production cycle too. So we've been through some larger trends and some emerging and mid-sized trends. And now let's just look at some inspirational ideas where we've seen a couple of case studies, a couple of weak signals, and we think that they're super interesting in terms of inspiring product designers and creative teams. The first theme here is around bottled up, which is around using bottles of packaging for products that aren't typically stored in bottles. One example is popcorn packaging in a bottle. But this idea also extends to reusable bottle systems where consumers return their bottles to stores for refills. So it's unique, it's fresh looking, but there's also advantages in terms of sustainability, circular systems, and the opportunity to reduce waste as well. Bagged up is pretty simple. which is around products being presented in a netted fabric. And obviously, we see fruits and avocados already being netted up and bagged up. But this idea involves placing individual items within a bag, creating a cohesive, portable package that can be both functional and visually appealing. It can also add some tactile elements to the packaging, which can appeal to the customer as well. For flavor fusion, we find an interesting aesthetic approach where brands use graphic imagery to celebrate cultural heritage or ingredients that define their products. And what they do is they take colors that have patterns that reflect elements of heritage, elements of ingredients, and they sort of intertwine those colors and forms. By doing so, they create dynamic, flowing shapes on the labels. And it presents a fusion of flavors and cultural influences. It's pretty engaging, pretty modern, and it provides a vibrant artistic element to the packaging. It makes it stand out from the show. Some other weak signals we found connect with the concept of glow in the dark. And this concept involves manufacturers, especially in the beverage industry, where companies incorporate special inks, reflective materials, and other techniques to make their products glow under low light or ultraviolet light. This approach adds a fun and engaging element to the packaging, making the product stand out in dim environments like bars and nightclubs. It also creates a visually striking effect that enhances the overall consumer experience and adds an element of surprise and delight. Now this trend is around etched, and it's based around how we can see elements of engraving or names being etched into packaging or materials, or the product itself. Whether it's this sacred product or topical, this technique has a tactile, sophisticated elements of the packaging, creating a sense of permanence and durability. The etched design not only enhances the aesthetic appeal, but also conveys a message of quality, craftsmanship, and it the product feel more substantial and premium. We also have seen this theme around badge, a concept where product manufacturers are playfully adding badges and other embellishments to the core products. It gives a personalized fan-made feel, and it's a little bit reminiscent how Scouts own badges or how campers decorate their gear. And it can add a layer of individuality and character to the product. It also provides an element of nostalgia, and in some ways it makes the product feel special and unique, as if it was curated by a passionate fan. And then we also see this theme called pouched. So this concept involves utilizing pouch-style packaging, traditionally used for refills as the primary packaging of products. This flexible packaging often involves a twisty cap, making it convenient for various uses, from pouring paint to dispensing foods. We see this format when it serves as a practical and eco-friendly solution. The night and day concept involves companies, especially in the beverage industry, creating product variations that are distinguished through the use of dark and light, or black and white materials. This approach plays with the contrast between day and night, often symbolizing one product as more good and angelic, while the other embodies a darker, more devilish persona. This playful dichotomy not only differentiates products visually, but also adds an element to storytelling, allow brands to consume, explore dualities, and engage consumers in a fun, thematic way. So I appreciate you spending time with me today and letting me walk through the trends. As a takeaway, maybe some things we can think about are that brands are crafting packaging that not only attracts attention, but also builds a lasting emotional bond. The goal is to create a packaging that is not only visually appealing, but also meaningful, making consumers feel more connected to the product and, by extension, to the brand itself. By doing so, companies help to foster brand loyalty, drive repeat purchases, and ultimately, of course, position their products as an integral part of the consumers' lives. My name is Piers Fawkes. I appreciate the time you took with me today listening to me present these design and packaging trends. I run a small consultancy where we help companies understand the future and how they can adapt to it. We tend to work with Silicon Valley companies, retailers, lifestyle brands, and automotive companies. And so think of us next time you have a project where you need to explore the future. This report is available at psfk.com/reports, and this video will be available